We're back out in the forest for this one, salvaging a massive tree and turning it into something special. I'll show you a simple method I use to cut the tension out of big beams so they come out dead straight on the Lucas mill. Here's how we planned it.
But we're gonna be slabbing through and getting a few beams out of this big tallow wood. It's about 6 meters long right now. We're gonna cut it up this way, get a few quarter sawn beams out of each side of the pith, and then we'll work through our way through these smaller tallow wood branches after that. I took the first slab off, but it's just stunning here. Hoping this big gray gum doesn't throw any branches down on us. Oh. I'm gonna try to explain what we're gonna do. All right, so for this next pass, we're gonna slab a thick 100 mil piece. This part has one of the beams, and then this one has another beam. You want it to crack and split through the center to relieve a bunch of tension. And then we'll take this side off. So this is about as advanced of a milling technique with the Lucas mill that you can do out in the bush. We've slabbed the top half of it, plain sawn obviously. We got to the pith, it's relieved a bit of tension already. What we're gonna do is snap a straight line, chainsaw out the middle to relieve the rest of the tension of this tallow wood log, flip it over, hit the other side of it to get a 250 or a 300 mil chunk. And then we're gonna do the same thing on this one to get a nice quarter sawn beam. And then what we're gonna do is do the similar thing with this, get a couple slabs out of the bottom. That's the most efficient way to slab unless you're wanting to have a whole bunch of resin slabs in the very core of your tree. So as you can see, I cut right down to basically where there was maybe 10% left of the log. And then I just pried it apart with a crowbar, not to damage the beams underneath. Now we're gonna cut this one first with the blade, both sides. Look at that sun streaming down through here. Okay, so I'm finding the shallowest point here from the pith. It's about 900, which is about 14 and a half Chevrolets for you Americans, or 12 bald eagles. And my other point is gonna be somewhere inside here. I'm gonna say it's about there. So we're gonna take this pass at 890, and we'll go from there. Relieve the tension on this side, and then do our last pass there. Oh, that was a struggle. I left a little bit sliver on the end in case there's any more tension that gets released from this cut here. And then we'll flip it back over to that final pass on the other side. All right, perfectly straight on this side. And it's good and straight on this side. It didn't relieve any tension as I took this side off, but there's still a little bit more pith rot coming through this side. So I'm gonna take another 20 mil off, and then we'll look at the finished result. So after re-sawing it, let's see how many times. 1 for the slab, 2.5 plus the cracking, 3, 4, 5 we still had a tiny bit of tension. It just shows how much tension is in some of these hardwoods. Let's throw some water on it and see what we got. So right here is a perfect example. I cut it oversized at 225. I'm going for a 200, but there was so much tension in it. I have to measure down there. It looks like 70 or 80 mil, but I'm gonna have to split the difference, cut this side, flip it over, cut that side, or just mill it in place to be a bit quicker, but wow. This termite poo gets cleaned out, or we can just leave it in. Good for the garden. But yeah, check it out. Pretty damn straight. So for this whole job, we've got those slabs, the beams. We also got some decking and some joists. I think a bonus slab in there as well. Some 100v100 posts, more decking that we need to stack, and some more decking there. Just perfect for tallowood. Yeah, heaps of timber from this one tree. It fell in the winds, Cyclone Alfred. Right there, that's its brother. Pulled it out of there, all the way to here, milled it, and it's gonna go in a building just below that one in a couple years once it's dried out. So all the timber has stayed on this one property. That's the way it should be done.